recovering from some breathing issues surrounding the machine fiasco. I did actually have a viewer sell me an old machine. He got a hold of me like a half hour after I posted that video about the having to repair my old ventilator thing. So I got that. I got it set up and working. This video is not about that. I'm just saying it's been a few days and I'm not exactly arrested, but we have to press on. I figured I would do a video about how I search for housing. Now, I'm sure some of you are aware this apartment is a temporary situation. I do not want to live here for, well, 3 minutes longer than I have to. So I've been trying to find a house, and the market is finally getting a little bit better. There's a little more inventory out there than there was before. So I've been running around looking at different stuff, but I figured I would show you guys a few things that, I just realized I don't have my watch on. It usually goes right there. I figured I would show you guys a few things that I typically look for when I'm trying to figure out if a house will work or not. Now, obviously I use a power chair. I can't use a manual chair, and normally I use a manual chair when I'm going out to look at houses, because if there's a step or a threshold or something I need to get over, it's a lot easier to do that in a manual chair, or pretty much impossible in a power chair. Portland is really strange, and I have to not say anything about accessibility or that I'm in a wheelchair or anything like that, because about 60% of the time, if I ask about any of that on the phone, they just won't call you back. So I have to be kind of sneaky, and I wouldn't say manipulative, but I do get a lot of, oh, or looks like that when I show up to look at a place. I guess this applies for trying to find rental properties. So essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm working with a sort of like a broker, or I forget exactly what they're called. Anyways, there's a bunch of houses out there, and essentially what happens is I find one that I want, and then the way this works is I can rent it for up to a year and decide if the location's good and everything's the way I want it, and then I can convert it into buying. And a small portion of the money that I paid in rent goes towards a down payment on the house. But I figure I want to do it this way because I don't want to get burned again. I'm sick of moving, and I want to find a place that's going to work. So I don't want to say, hey, everything looks great, buy the place, move in, and then find out that the sewers catch fire constantly, or there's like an air strip that's being installed across the street, or I don't know, any number of things. Oh, sewers exploding. That actually did happen down here a few years ago. There was a big section of the highway that completely blew up for no reason. Not sure what that was all about, but anyways, if you know what I'm saying, I would rather try before you buy. And in 2019, there's a lot of options to do things like that. I'm just going to show you a few things I look for when you're looking at listings online, and some tools you can use to try to figure out if a house is accessible or not. And some of the things that can happen that are unexpected, and something that I'm actually going to do here in an hour or so. I've actually got a showing that I'm going to at 4 o'clock, but I can't quite tell if I'm going to be able to get into the place. So I'm going to do a pre-run, go by it, and see if I need to bring ramps or something like that. And that's one of the other tools in the bag. So this is a random house. It's over in Portland. And it's like, oh, you know, it looks pretty cool. And I started noticing, I'm like, wait a second, there's like a pathway here. And then the front door doesn't have a threshold. I was like, wait, is this place a secret wheelchair user house? You know, the back, I mean, there's like one step getting in there, but, you know, that can be fixed easily. And then living room and stuff here. I actually didn't notice this step, so I've already gone out to look at this place. This is one that didn't work out. I didn't notice this step right here, but still not really a big deal. Nice open floor plan, hardwood floors, nice kitchen you can get through easily. And the hallway is ginormous. There's that step right there that I didn't see. Giant laundry room, tile floors. And look, there's one of these bathtubs that you can sit in. I almost didn't notice that. But yeah. So after looking around this, I was like, oh, cool. So let me pull this up on the city assessor's website. So I pulled the property up, and I was like, oh, well, look at this. We've got like almost a 1 acre lot here. And I didn't see it in the photos, but if we go to Google Street View, let me copy this address here. Which I guess I should back up a minute. That's one of the other things I do is I'll go to Google Street View, and I will kind of use that to try and figure out if a house is going to be accessible or not. So I pulled up the place here, and there you can see, oh crap, well it looks like they've done some landscaping, these trees are gone, but check it out. There's a massive garage slash shop. And when I pull it up on here, you can see that this is, like the house is 2,000 square feet. So this is gotta be like 800 to 1,200 square feet, something like that. Then we got a random shed out here. So I was like, oh, sweet. You know, and it's in a decent enough location. It's sort of urban, yet still kind of rural. So I'm like, yeah, okay, this might work. You know, it looks like we've got a little shed way back there. We've got some trees. It's on it's this lot right here. I mean, obviously there's a lot of houses and stuff around, but yeah, we've got this massive lot here and tons of room, giant shop garage thing. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's go back to the ad and take a look here. So you can see there's been a lot of landscaping done, and the ad was just like, single level home, blah, 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 neighborhood, centrally located, blah, 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 blah. Walking distance, security deposit, bunch of keywords, 1-year lease agreement, background check. So I'm like, all right, cool. I will go and take a look at this place. Oh, and there's one other thing I noticed too. The last time this house sold, it was in 2016 for $500,000. Now that seems a little bit high. I couldn't quite figure out why that was the case. But it all made sense as soon as I showed up at this place. I got out of my van, and boom! There's now a road installed. Here's the corner of the house, and they're installing 3 houses back here. There's the shed. That's going to get torn down. And if we look here, this is now the only parking for the house. The 1,000 square foot garage slash shop used to be right here. This is now an access road for those 3 houses. And this is not quite long enough to park one full-size van. This guy used to live here, and when he parked his truck here, he said he had to park it crooked because it would hang out into that little easement street. So, you don't always end up with what you think. And to the guy's credit, I mean, I don't know, people say what they're going to say, but he was like, oh, well, we had it listed on Zillow, and I didn't realize the Craigslist ad didn't say that there was development going on behind it. He's had the thing up since, well, a little over a month and a half now. He's had a few people look at it, but no one seems really interested in it. And it's probably because there's going to be 3 houses 20 feet behind it. I mean, that was my thing. And the price that we were going to go with on this is not, well, let's just say I'm looking for something that has to have a garage or a shop. Oh, actually, I need to text him back while I'm thinking about it. I have not done that yet. He said he wasn't aware that the Craigslist ad was incorrect. However, it's been 2 days now and the ad still hasn't changed, so I don't know, whatever. But anyways, that's one of the things I was going to say. You've got a lot of tools in your arsenal to check out places, because just straight up asking someone, at least around Portland, from my experience, if you start asking them about accessibility and how wide doorways are and things like that, there's a pretty high chance that they're mysteriously going to rent the place or not return your calls anymore. Now, I've had some good experiences. There are some people that are like, oh, hey, yeah, I would love to get you in here because this place was set up for someone that was in a chair. And that's how this guy was. It was great. I just wish I had known that, you know, it's a little tiny lot now. And, well, anyways, but so you can use Google Maps, and then the city assessor's website for Portland, it has all the information about houses. It tells you like the crime rates and a bunch of other things. I don't know if other cities, everyone has a slightly different version of it, but there's usually some sort of public record website you can go to and find out details about the house. But you've got satellite view, you've got street view. Now in my case, street view backfired because, let's see, when was this updated? Yeah, so right here, July of 2018. So it hasn't been updated for this year yet. And as you can see, that is definitely not what the place looks like. Yeah. And I guess, I mean, In hindsight, I probably could have seen that something was going on over here, but I just assumed, oh, well, they're clearing out the hillside, or they're clearing out the lot behind it. And I mean, look how little space that is. I mean, you can't park 2 vans in there, especially a wheelchair van, and like deploy the lift. Like, no way. So on to the next place. I'm looking at a place at 4 o'clock today. It's like 12:30 now, and same sort of deal. Let me pull it back up here on the old Craigslist. Where is it? 1-level ranch, oversized garage with workspace. This one actually has a little shop, well, sort of attached shop next to the garage. The one thing I couldn't quite figure out is if there is a step getting into the house right here. It looks like the raised foundation is kind of the standard, like 10 to 14 inches high. And I can't tell, I think that's a vent. I don't think it's a basement window, but there's either going to be a big square landing here with 1 step and then another one inside, or it's just going to be a straight step up on there. But in my manual chair, I am able to pull myself up, you know, through the door jamb over a step like that. So let's continue on. The house has brand new carpet, and you can tell here that they're stingy about the carpet because we have these plastic runners. So I'm going to have to make sure that my wheelchair tires are clean. Look at this color scheme. Like, it's amazing. But, you know, it looks like there's enough space to move around in here at least. We've got a white stove, a stainless fridge, and a stainless hood vent with like seafoam green and orange squash. This is a half a bathroom. It looks like it's a pocket door. So, I mean, that could be serviceable if need be. I'm pretty sure, is that a second bathroom? I'm assuming that's a half bath. Got laundry area here. Looks like it's off the kitchen. See, that's the thing is you got to investigate photos and look at everything and figure out what your layout is. But yeah, so this appears to be the kitchen right here. So we got laundry room. Then this is a full-size bathroom. And judging from where the toilet is, I would assume that this wall is maybe where a shower or a tub is. And you can kind of extrapolate that there's a pretty good amount of space here. I mean, you know roughly how big a toilet bowl is, and you can see about the curve of it there. So you can say, okay, that's like half a finger width. And then sort of figure out, like, you won't be able to turn around, but you should be able to back in and out of there in a power chair at least. Unknown what the hallway looks like. That's the unknown on this house. So we've got a giant yard out front. Got the garage there, backyard. Looks like we got some neighbors. I don't know why that whole one's blue, but there's a covered patio in the back. I can't quite tell. It's got to be like maybe one giant step, but none of these photos I can quite tell. So what we're going to do here, we're going to pull this up in Google Street View. Wait, I think we got it. That's really hard to tell. I'm looking right here where this box is. It looks like, I think that's a railing. Okay, so it looks like what we have here is a concrete block. I would assume that's got 2 steps coming up to it. And then that's the same height as the door with maybe a threshold that's about yay big. So that is going to be tricky because getting up 2 steps is difficult. But a single step through a door is easy because you can pull yourself through it. Now, obviously, I'd be building ramps later on. But this is just for the purposes of, you know, trying to figure out if this place is going to work or not. That looks like a railing there. I couldn't tell if it was a reflection from a screen door or a railing. Now that tree's in our way. Still in our way. So I guess this is the only view we get. Let me try adjusting the brightness here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a concrete riser. Regardless though, I need to go look at this place before 4 o'clock to figure out if I'm going to be able to get in here or not. That's the other key factor too, is you have to figure out how wide the hallways are. Because in a house like this, everything may be fine, but this is clearly built in like the 60s or something, so the hallways might be really, really narrow. And they don't always show photos of hallways. It's got these old aluminum windows, so I'm thinking the doors are going to be pretty narrow. There's a pocket door in the bathroom, which tells me they're trying to save space, or in one of the bathrooms. So sometimes when you're looking at photos of bedrooms, you can, actually here, let's take a look again. See if we can peek around the corner in any of the bedroom photos and see if we can see the hallway. Can't tell what that is. Now this has to be in a hallway because, yeah. Oh, were there no bedroom photos? So we're gonna have to go check this out. It's not too far away, so I mean, driving over there in advance to look at it now shouldn't be a big deal. Although my portable roll-up ramps are in storage, and that is on the other side of town, like a long ways away. And I don't know if I'm dedicated enough to go get those ramps. This might be a key thing, or this might be a good example of bringing a friend with you, and then using FaceTime or some sort of video chat thing, and have them walk around inside the house so you can see what's going on. I have a sneaking suspicion that the hallway is going to be really narrow in this place. So what I might do... Well, let's go take a look at it and see if I can peep in through the windows. I don't think the place is currently occupied, but we're going to do a quick drive-by and see what we can figure out. People are amazing, holy cow. So I've been sitting in front of the elevator for a few minutes. There's some lady with a little kid, and he was like pushing all the buttons and stuff. So the elevator went up and down a couple of times, and the door opened back up, and they were still in there. I was waiting to go down here to the garage. They were going up, so it took a while. But so just before the elevator gets there, some other lady like comes up the elevator, and she's like, "Ah, damn it, you're going down." She's like, "I needed to go up." And then she like storms off and turns around and goes over to the stairwell. And so I was like, "Oh, sorry to be such an inconvenience to you." And she's like, she yells back, "Yeah, I know, right? There's always something." So the funny thing is the mailman's right there because the elevator's right next to the mailroom. And I was just like, wow, you can never underestimate people. And the mailman, she leans around the corner. She's like, "Did you know that person?" I'm like, "No, it's just some random person." And she was like, wow. My whole thing that I've always said is go ahead and be upset or mad. But like, if you're going to make a comment or say something, like at least do the courtesy of waiting until I'm out of earshot. You know, that's the whole thing. You know, at grocery stores or whatnot, when people come around the corner and they see there's someone in a wheelchair and they can't get by in their cart, and they're like, I understand, like, it's inconvenient that I exist, but can we please avoid the audible frustration that you're apparently feeling because someone in a wheelchair is like making you take 5 extra steps or delaying you for a couple of seconds. Anyways, it's always funny when there's like other people around to witness things like that. I mean, even like my therapist, you know, she's like, "Well, it's not that I never believed you with these stories. It's just, you know, after I put the camera on my chair and, you know, I would review situations and whatnot with my therapist, you know, every couple of weeks." And she's like, "It's not like I didn't believe you, but it's something else to hear. It's like, it's one thing to hear the stories, but it's something completely different to actually see it in front of you happening." I don't know. I find the stuff like that funny. But, let's go look at this house. Now, the other thing I'm going to have to be a little bit cognizant of is I happen to know this particular area where this house is, and it is a cul-de-sac street that only has like 3 or 4 houses on it. People digging through dumpsters. And it is primarily an area where people that live there are retired. And I get the idea of, I mean, this house has been a rental from what I could tell for a number of years. And I know that usually people that are retired and living in little cul-de-sacs in sort of rural areas don't like rentals. So I'm driving this super ugly van and I'm going to show up and be poking around the place. So I'll have to keep my head on a swivel and make sure that no one's like outside or like gonna try and call the cops or something, you know, because this vehicle looks abandoned, like no matter what. Usually whenever I see someone outside like that or they seem to be staring, I'll just go up and talk to them and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know, do the whole social engineering thing and be friendly and all that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this looks. let's see what we can figure out here on this front door. Okay, yeah, so that is a railing there, which means there is a landing. And that probably means the steps are a little higher than I thought to get to the door. So I'm guessing it's probably 2 steps. Well, let's take a peek here. And also we can look through the garage. Sometimes getting in a house through a garage is possible as well. Yep, definitely 2 stairs and pretty much no threshold. Let's see what we can see in the garage here. Okay, so there's a small step and then a bigger one there in the garage. Which, actually, that might be a better place to put a ramp, actually. Then there's a grade level door out back there. And then, oh yeah, a separate little workroom over there. Seems to be a pretty decent amount of parking here. There are definitely people peeping out the windows at me. So we're gonna take off here. And then I'm gonna get out of here and then try and come up with a game plan to get inside this house. I was gonna try and peek through the front window there, but as soon as I started looking in through the garage, as soon as I started peeping in through the garage, there's people in this other house over here wondering what the hell's going on, so. I still need to see inside this place. I'm gonna text a friend and see if they are available to come over and give me a hand, because the little portable ramps that I'm able to use are not long enough to go up that step in the garage, and it would be questionable even for that front step as well. So I would have to use my 12-foot ramps, which are, I think, trifold ramps, and I cannot manage those on my own. So I think I'm going to see if they can come over and at least do a walkthrough and, you know, see what the place looks like or whatnot. Yeah. Got a couple hours. I'm gonna send them a message and see what we can figure out. They gave me a remote to the automatic door. Let's see if it works. Whatever, I guess. I wonder if I'm even gonna be here. Oh, there's spider webs on my chair. Dang it. Like all over the place. Nothing worse than spiders crawling out of your chair and down your pant leg when you're running around. I wonder if I'm even gonna be living here by the time they get that door working. I'm going pretty heavy into looking for houses right now. Obviously it takes a while to get stuff going once you find one, but I think it's officially a race. Will this button work before I start sleeping somewhere else? Well, I just got a notification from Amazon that my stuff is ready to be picked up down at their one-day delivery pickup center. Never mind that it's been 3 days, but I've got a couple hours before I need to head out, so I just hopped into the Bounder. And I'm gonna scurry down there real quick, grab my stuff, and come back and get ready to look at that other place.
Yeah, you want to pull it out? Let me take a look at the order there. Oh, this is you right here? Oh, yeah. Perfect. I'll be right back. And go ahead and pull it up for me. I'm going to take a look.
Hey, all my stuff was supposed to be in lower lockers.
Oh, do you?
It says it's supposed to be in a lower locker, and that's like the highest one.
This one here? Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a reason they didn't do that?
I know. It opts us into whatever locker.
It said on the screen it would be in a lower locker.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it does that usually. Yeah.
went down to Amazon and picked up my stuff. It's mostly for, man, it's like insulation inside there, gross. It's mostly for live streaming, actually. So I did a stream on the other channel, and I was testing with this $40 iPhone 5S that I bought. And while it works, obviously the video quality is not that good, but what I wanted to stream with was the Note 9. This thing is like a beast for streaming. It has exceptional audio, it's got really good stabilization, a couple of lenses, and Samsung has sort of a proprietary codec that works really well with live streaming and YouTube. So it doesn't use as much data, you get great video quality and whatnot. But as you've probably heard if you watched either of those other streams on the other channel, there's a ton of wind noise. So I decided to stop screwing around and just get what I need to make this work. The reason I bought the iPhone 5S, the gimbal I use is this thing, and the problem is the Note 9 is so big and heavy that it won't balance out in this thing. Even if you get it in here and get it all set up, it'll work for a few minutes, but then the gimbal gives up and shuts off. So, wind noise issues, I went and got this microphone, which has an insanely large dead cat on it, and I tested it on a live stream the other night, and it actually works really well. This has a cardioid pattern, so it picks up a little bit of the ambient noise around you. But then I also got this counterweight set, and it's designed to go onto this gimbal to counterweight giant phones. And also, this microphone is designed to go on a cold shoe mount or a quarter 20 mount, and this gimbal doesn't have that. So I got an adapter that's specifically made for this gimbal that will allow me to mount the microphone Ooh, it's aluminum. But it allows me to mount the microphone on this particular model of gimbal. Look at that. So this thing essentially clamps on here, and you can mount your microphone in various positions and also other accessories. Basically, it turns this gimbal into a much more usable platform for things. So let me go ahead and lock this on here. It's almost like it was made for this. Plus, I always like colored anodized aluminum knobs. And then all we have to do now is slide our microphone in here. You can use this little wheel to tighten it down. Then, lastly, we have this counterweight set. It's got a few different weights you can unscrew on here. This should allow me to get this giant phone on here and get it counterbalanced. And I even got a custom cable at Goodwill of all places. This is a right angle USB-C to USB-C cable, and it's intentionally designed to go into gimbals. So when you stick this on here, actually that's going to block the microphone, I'll have to point it up like this. So when you stick it on here, it provides a nice solid surface for the gimbal to actually press up against. Let me check this up in here, then I'll show you. There we go. And our rig is now on the gimbal, balanced out, and it's not going to freak out because there's too much weight on it. I'm gonna do a live stream here in a little bit. It's not raining and it's not dark outside yet, so you're gonna see a stream from this before you see this video. But anyways, it was like 65 bucks for all this stuff, the microphone, the counterweights, and microphone mount and all that stuff. So I think it's well worth it, and we should finally have stabilized video from a device that's capable of doing a fairly high bit rate, so it doesn't look like complete trash like it did from an iPhone 5S. That was $40. Well, I ended up going back to check out that house. I met with a broker. Neither one of my friends were available because they have like jobs and families and stuff. I think there's some sort of trending thing now about adulting on the interweb or something, or pretending to be a responsible adult or whatever. But anyways, what I did was I brought this old $40 iPhone 5S that I have, and I handed it to the broker, and I was like, here. I connected with FaceTime, and he went inside, and before I even attempted to get into the house, I had him go in there so I could see how wide the hallway was. Once that looked good, I brought my manual chair with me and had him open up the garage. I threw my manual chair up on top of the steps, then I raised the seat elevator all the way up here on the F3, and I was able to sort of pole vault or slide across to the manual chair, and then I was able to run around inside the house. And it actually looks like it might be a decent place, so I'm still doing a little bit more looking around and whatnot, but this place is definitely in the running for a potential candidate. So that's where we're at for right now. I did a live stream last night and probably talked about it a little bit on that. That's like 2.5 hours long though, so I don't expect you to watch that. But if you're bored and you want some background noise, yeah, that's something to do. I think I'm just gonna do that, call that a day for this video, just kind of one topic, trying to find housing. If you have any other thoughts or like tips that you have when you're trying to find apartments or houses or other properties to rent or live or do whatever in, leave a comment down below. Yeah, I've still got a bunch more footage for another vlog. Got some stuff from a few weeks ago, actually some stuff from almost a month ago. So I'm gonna try and get that up here in the next day or two. And I don't like to let footage sit around for too long because then I can't put it into a vlog without like explaining why I haven't used it, and I don't know, and then I feel like I'm doing a clip show and I don't want to do that. But anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, and yeah, catch you in the next one. Wait, I sounded suspiciously like a YouTuber when I said that. Whatever.